Okay, here we are in Aptly Homework Chapter 4, looking at the second problem, figuring out what the opportunity cost to Juanita of buying a skirt is. Now, in this problem, time is the ultimate resource, and in most of our lives, time is the ultimate resource. So the amount of time we spend doing something is very important to consider. When you read over this problem, the first piece of information you want to pull out is down here. Juanita makes $60 an hour at work. When she's not at work, she has to take time off to purchase her skirt. So every time she's away from work, she will spend $60 effectively. So let's look at how we figure out how much a skirt really costs Juanita. So Juanita, if she goes to the local department store, her travel time is 15 minutes each way for half an hour total. She also spends half an hour shopping for the skirt. So whenever, I think that was earlier in this actually, it takes her 30 minutes to shop for a skirt, whichever store she is. So she spends half an hour in travel time, plus she spends half an hour in shopping time for a total 1 hour time cost of $60. That's her time away from work. Her total skirt cost then is the $60 plus $122, which is the price of the skirt. So her total cost is $182. Let's look at if she goes across town to buy this instead. So across town, it costs her 30 minutes in travel time each way, so an hour to drive, plus it costs her that same half an hour to shop. So that gives her 1.5 hours. 1.5 hours times the $60 that each hour costs her, so it's $90 in time costs. Skirt's a little bit cheaper across town, right? The skirt price is up here in this table. It's $90. So $90 plus $90 gives her a total skirt cost, if she goes across town, of $180. So it's a little bit less expensive to go across town than it is to stay home and shop locally. So you go ahead and figure the third one out, and you can just figure out which one is least expensive, and that's where she should go to purchase the skirt. So here's the answer. I also wanted to do problem 3 for you, a decision at the margin. So here we have Kevin, who's a hardworking college sophomore. Kevin is trying to figure out the best way to study for the test. He's got two options here. He can do problems, or he can sit and read the textbook. So the first thing we do in this problem is figure out what his marginal benefit from doing problems in an hour are. So the first hour, lost my pointer. Okay, the first hour from 8 to 9, he answers 80 problems. The second hour, he's up to total problems of 140. So during that second hour, he actually answered 140 minus 80. I've got that right over here, for 60 problems in that second hour. The third hour, actually, he worked. He ended up with a total of 180 problems answered. So if we subtract the 140 he did in the first 2 hours, that third hour got him 180 minus 40, or 40. The fourth hour, that was from 11 to noon, he answered 200 minus 180, or 20 additional problems. Now later, the teaching assistant gives him some advice. Working on 30 problems raises the student exam score by about the same amount as reading the textbook for an hour. So what does that tell you as a student? It says keep on working problems as long as you can manage to complete more than 30 problems in an hour. When you fall under 30 problems in an hour, you're actually better off sitting around and reading the textbook. So if you remember back to the previous graph, in that fourth hour, Kevin managed to do 200 minus 180, or 20 problems. The third hour, it was 180 minus 140, or 40 problems. So the third hour, he should continue working problems. The fourth hour, on the other hand, he should spend reading the textbook. So this problem actually had an important moral. The moral from this one is that you need to decide how much benefit you receive from each type of studying and balance the amount of time you spend working problems with the amount of time that you spend reading the textbook. And that's it for Chapter 4.